Hello, everybody. This was not on our bingo card today, but here we are talking about it. For everyone that is watching as a recording, before we get into it, and everyone that's in the live right now, like it. Everyone that's watching this as a recording, like it before you forget. If you are new here, this is the place to be when it comes to talking about the Seattle Sounders from a few fans' perspectives. So now that we got that all out the way, people are already in the live. What? Like, they can't believe it. What's up, Angel? Welcome, everybody. Today we're talking about Josh Atencio being sold to the Colorado Rapids. The Colorado Rapids seem to have a fetish for Seattle Sounders midfielders because, as we must not forget, just a few years ago, we loaned out Danny Leyva to the Colorado Rapids. So they seem to have a Seattle Sounders youngster midfield fetish. Let's first get started with the reactions. Everyone as well that is watching, welcome. Everyone's starting to slowly pile in. What was your first initial reaction to this, Brody? Because this just broke out. Like we're you guys got to give us props here. We're on this on ice. We're on this lickety split. This thing just broke out like 20 minutes ago, and we're on it. So
yeah. I mean, my reaction is similar. My immediate reaction was similar to literally everyone that's coming into the live going, what? This is so random out of left field. I mean, going into the season, all the reports were like, Josh Atencio is going to stay. They have a future, like a plan for him at center back and stuff. And then just to see this happen, like, yeah, I mean, it was a shock. But to be honest with you, I think it's a good move for all parties involved. Obviously, we do get a decent amount of GAM back, and it's like roughly half of what we sent to FC Dallas to get Jesus Ferreira. And then we also free up a U22 spot as well. We'll talk about what that can mean later on. But we get a good return for a guy who realistically talented player, but wasn't really getting a lot of minutes with us towards the end of last season. And I guess we didn't really, maybe we had a plan with him, but the offer was just so good that we were like, we just got to take it here. But a guy that's not going to see a whole lot of minutes going for this. It's good for us. Colorado Rapids, they get a good young player added to their team. And then Josh Atencio is going to go to a place where he'll hopefully on paper see a lot more minutes. So I think it's a win-win for everybody involved.
yeah, I mean, I'm not going to, reiterate everything you said because I think my reaction was pretty similar to yours. It's just like, what? Because there was no rumors, flickers. I don't think it was a case of him being unhappy or anything like that. I personally just think the Colorado Rapids came in with a deal that the Sounders couldn't resist. As you said, we're getting half the GAM back from Jesus Ferreira because I believe we gave out all our GAM in that move, and we get a U20. So basically, we got half the Jesus Ferreira deal back in our pockets from Josh Atencio. So when you look at it like that, you're like, actually, this isn't a bad move. Yes, Josh was a breakout player in 2023. He probably had his best season to this date in 2023. The problem was last year when Obed was healthy, when Danny was relatively healthy throughout the season. Josh wasn't. He was kind of out of the picture. And at the same time, guys, this is as to play the devil's advocate for all parties involved. We have too many young midfielders. I've talked about this in countless transfer window videos, countless ones. At some point, we're going to have to bite the bullet and sell one of Atencio, Vargas, Leyva. It's going to have to happen. And the thing is with those three players, they're all instant profit because they all came from the academy. We didn't spend a penny in transfer value anyway on these players. So they're pure profit. So in this case, when you get in a good offer like this, I don't blame the Sounders for taking it. So when you look at it that way, I think it's pretty good for all parties involved. I think I think for the most part, people are pretty cool with this. I think there is a small contingency of people that are like, oh, but he's young. We need young midfielders, this and that. This is how I'll look at it. Brody, you brought this up in a previous video live. I don't know. We've done 1,000 of these and it'll still continue. You said how it looks like the Sounders are doubling down on the Unk squad. You bring in Areola, you bring in not saying Ferrer is old, but in regards to you bring back Joe Paulo, you bring back Rusnak, you bring back more. You're just basically doubling down on the Unk team.
Bring
And it
Kim
looks
Key
like that's
back.
what's gonna happen because you're bringing back Josh Atencio. You're selling Josh Atencio, and so it's like if you are the part of the boat of like, because a lot of people came at us like crucifying us over the whole like, how can you guys say Rusnak is not worth the DP or like this about more like whatever it may be. Well, then you can't complain when we're in this boat where we're selling players like Josh Atencio or Obed Vargas or maybe Danny Leyva or Paul Rothrock. Like those are the players that are pure profit for us. So if you want to be on the side of okay, well, I think renewing Rusnak to DP is what we need to do based off last season. Well, if you want money to be able to buy players, you're going to have to make trades like this. So, just for perspective for everybody, I mean, as we've already blatantly said, we wouldn't have renewed Rusnak. But if you're going to renew Rusnak, then how are you going to have money for the summer? Say if you need to bring in players, you need that wiggle room. This is when offers like this come in. The thing is, I'm a little bit surprised about is how quickly Weibel pounced on this because this isn't Weibel like as we've seen in the past. He's needed to think about these things this time around because it went swiftly. No one talked about this. Tom broke the news. Bam, that was it. There's no rumors, nothing like that. Because Sounders, it drags on. Like you hear one rumor, it goes on and on and on. Tom broke the news. Bam, done. So I think Craig might be learning his lesson here, but let's move on to the pros and cons. I kind of was already just talking about them. For you, Brody, what are the pros and the cons? Which one outweighs what, in your opinion?
Yeah, so I mean, the biggest pro for me is the fact that you're getting recouping a lot of that Jesus Ferreira money back in this trade for a guy who realistically was probably not going to play a lot anyways. You also get that U22 spot as well, which is hinting at a potential signing coming our way as well. So I would say that's the pros, and then like you said, when you tie in your money to these older guys, like if you guys want to make signings, then guys like Atencio and others will have to go as well. And yeah, I think that's really just the biggest pros, and that's all you kind of really need from this trade is that GAM and then that U22 slot. Um, I guess the only con would be is if we're gonna be playing that three center back formation more, leaves us a little bit thin because I mean we got Nuhu, Gamar, Reagan, and then I mean I guess we do have Bell and Kim, but I don't know. Ideally, over a season like this, where you're playing a friggin' boatload of games, you would like to have as much depth as possible. But I think it's something that we can live without. Um, and then obviously we got Stuart Hawkins as well. Anyway, so I mean, I would say there's definitely more pros for sure. I mean, you lose a guy. I mean, he's Josh Atencio is one of us. Came through the academy and whatnot. So it is sad to see him go. I guess obviously that's a con as well, but. I think overall it's a good piece of business from Weibel in a window that I think me personally, I think has been very good, considering where he has put us, the situation that he's put us in. He's done well to, kind of salvage that, in my opinion. And listen, I'll give credit to J. Ross here because he actually said this, and I like the thinking here. Maybe with these freed up spots, and then the rumors of Obed Vargas being sold in the summer, he was thinking maybe like once Obed goes and we get all this money for him and then this freed up U22 spot, that we have a signing ready to just right back in, like like as if Obed never left. So I think maybe we could see something like that, which we'll talk about more. But yeah, overall, I would say more pros than there are cons to this move for us, at least.
Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing a lot of the comments are funny. You guys let us know. Everybody in the live right now, everyone that's watching this video, post live, let us know your guys' thoughts. Every question we talk about, every topic, let us know what your guys' opinions are too. I think some of the funny ones right now. Shout out to Jack, OG, follower of the page. It's a good deal, but Craig is such like bullshit artist that that's what everyone's worries. And I actually respect this. A lot of people are like seeing like this might be a good signing, but nobody trusts Craig. Nobody trusts Craig. Like it's like we're setting ourselves up for success, but then Craig takes us back to the dinosaur ages a little bit. So, I'll give Craig this. Me and him, we ain't pals like that. I'll give him a nice pat on the back. You did good. You didn't fall for a good offer coming in and you going like, should I do it? Should I not? I don't know. I haven't been in this like yada yada. And Yeah, it's a good deal in regards to we got good money off of Josh for a guy that really wasn't a big figurehead in the team last year to our success of last season. So I'll say that the one thing I agree with everything you said, Brody, first and foremost. I will say one con that was not brought up is the potential. I think that's the one con is you lose a guy like Atencio. He's technically in the youth USA pool, technically. And so
Yeah.
you lose an opportunity of having your Gustav Svensson type guy that could be a part of the team for 5, 6, 7 years plus in your team. Your Christian Roldan type player. Because think about it, Josh is very versatile. He could play DM, he can play CM, he can play center back. I believe we've seen him even play in the right back position in the past. So it's like he's a Roldan, he's a Brad Evans, he's a Gustav Svensson type of guy. And you lose that with selling him. So now you lose another versatile player in the squad, which, like you said, in a long season. So that's a big con and potential. Like we talked about in the Craig Weibel's failure video, how we took a huge L on Samuel Adeniran, for example. Like we sold him for peanuts, and then then St. Louis were getting offers tenfold for what they bought him for. So there is that risk too. And so I would say it's a con, but again, I think the pros outweigh the cons. It just depends on what your trajectory is. Like you said, if you're doubling down on the Unk squad, you're doubling down on the Unk squad. You can't get we all know this. It's not a perfect world. So you can't get everything you want. If you want Rusnak and Morris as your DPs, well, you might have to sell some players. If you're cool with letting go of Rusnak and Morris as your DPs, then you can keep guys like this if you're going to be willing to let those guys walk. So it depends on what kind of risks you want to take. And so that's how I would look at it. And
I was just going to add real quick. I think the distinction between the Sam Adeniran move is that I truly did see a pathway for Adeniran to actually get minutes to increase his, value from other MLS teams or perhaps even in Europe. I just didn't really see like the moves we were kind of making, like bringing in Kim Ki-hee, for example, and then playing Hawkins a lot in preseason. I guess I didn't see the vision where Atencio would get like enough minutes to really tap into that potential that he has. So that's really the only thing I would say about that. But of course, I mean he is a young player, and anything can happen with young players when they're in the right position. I don't know if that was going to be here. I didn't really see a pathway for a ton of minutes for Josh Atencio this year, and I guess the club didn't either, and that's why the move got done. And then also, listen, I know I'm the producer director of the Craig Weibel video, but I will say, if you kind of really look at it, we got Jesus Ferreira freed up 2 U22 spots for basically like 1.5, 1.6 GAM, and then gave Leo Chu to them, and then Atencio, not to them, but obviously to the Rapids. Like that move, these moves are starting to come together nicely, in my opinion. As someone who's been very critical of Craig Weibel, I have to say this offseason I think has been some of the best business in the MLS, and maybe that's controversial, but considering like how handicapped the squad was, obviously due to his own moves, but like he's making the best out of a tough situation, I think. So, yeah.
so quickly, while you were on that tangent, we've been getting a lot of comments. We'll first go to Wade, and then we'll get to the super chat. This is kind of a weird mood. I've been hearing about how we raised our floor, but does this mean we lowered it? Yes and no, Wade, and also big shout out to you. A big shout out to everyone watching. If you haven't already, make sure to like the stream. And if you haven't already, too, become a member on the channel. So if you come on streams like this, your questions are always prioritized and always answered throughout the lives. It's literally the first link in the video to become a member. Super cheap. You get cool emojis too that you can use in lives like this that we made, and more that get joined, the more we can add based off of requests. But yeah, Brody kind of brought it up in a compact schedule. It's just like, I think it goes back to this. You can't get all the toys in the toy shop. If you want to retain some of your toys, that's fine, but you're going to have to lose some in the process if you want to be able to make future, moves and purchases. So Are we looking into Asian transfer market? Well, we brought in Kim. I think I would love Jack to be able to bring in more Asian footballers. I think it's a good market to be looking at, especially for that U22 spot. And the Asian, I mean, you're seeing Galaxy brought in Yoshida, Yamane. You're seeing other clubs dip into that Asian market. I think Charlotte bought in the Israeli player. Oh, I forgot what his name was. Oh man, and he was a really good slam dunk for him. Obviously, we brought in Kim. He doesn't really count because we've already kind of had him and he wanted to come back. But I think that's a good market to look at because it helps a lot with jersey sales, helps a lot. Look at Martin Paz. Let's use him as an example because he's great. Any video FC Dallas put out get millions of views from Indonesia. That guy, like, I'm not saying that's the end all be all, but there is a big plus market value side with a lot of Asian footballers. And there's a lot of good ones too. So I would be all for, maybe that needs to be a video if you guys want to see it. I do a scouting report of Asian footballers that the Sounders could sign. Because think about it. Brody loves this analogy. Galaxy bought Joveljic for a U22 spot. It will hopefully, let's say we sell Obed. Now we have 2 free spots. Why can't we bring in that Joveljic type of player to compete with Morris finally at the striker spot? But another comment, get Craig on Football Manager ASAP. Sadly, Football Manager has the new one's been canceled, so that's really sad. We need more players for the Club World Cup. Yes and no. I would rather it be more quality over quantity, and I think we're kind of tween. I don't know, Brody. Do you think we're kind of tweenered into that? Because I don't think we have that much quality, but I think we do have a decent amount of quantity.
I think I've said this before in other lives. I think we have a lot of good players. I don't think we have the only great player I'd say we have is Ymar. I don't think we have a great standout player, but we have a lot of good players. So I'd say it's kind of a mix of both, to be honest.
See, this is an interesting comment. It's just like but the thing is, it's so bizarre because we talked about Josh going into the season as like one of the center backs in the pool. And it's like, I don't know if he's fit. The thing is, I don't know where he was in the pecking order. So,
Well, yeah, he's like that amazing ball knower just said, fifth, sixth choice center back, and then what would he be in the midfield? Because it'd be Obed, Christian, JP, Leva. So he's like fourth, fifth there too. So it's like it's depth, but you know, is it really like that important to? And then you like if we didn't get much for him, then I'd be upset. But we got, dare I say it, man, we got a pretty nice haul for a guy that didn't really play a lot last year, and apparently there wasn't really a path for minutes this year, I guess. So I like it. It's a great deal. So I agree, Mr. Jacob Woodward.
yeah, so definitely there is an interesting talking point with the money we got from Josh. And as you said, Brody, yeah, like Leva might be, because there's been a lot of good conversations being had of Leva in preseason. It's just like you got to choose your battles. If a good offer is on the table, just I guess I think the reality is I think Josh is a little bit more of a hotter commodity, if you can say that, than Leva, because he's had a solid season at MLS. We haven't seen that from Danny, and we already know we're gonna get a big offer for Obed. So it's like,
And Atencio kind of sort of has that, I won't say USMNT pedigree, but the fact that he's, been called up to camps and has played in some friendlies, like he's probably more well known around MLS circles, I would assume. So
yeah, so it's definitely a good point of conversation. So now let's finish this live up. We're going to stay for another 15, 20 more minutes. So everybody that's in the live right now, if you haven't already, like the live. We're wrapping it up. Let's get all your guys' questions in here too while we're talking. What do we want to see now that we have this U22, 2 U22 spots open? What do you guys want to see from the Sounders? What positions do you want to buy? What kind of players do we want to be looking at? Everyone chime in. What does it mean now that Josh Atencio sold? What could this mean for us over the summertime now that this move has happened? What are the implications behind this, Brody, in your opinion?
yeah, so obviously with that move and the Lao Chu move, that's 2 U22 initiative spots. So I'm thinking either we could go 2, not as expensive U22 guys, or we could go, I guess not blow the budget on one, but a good amount for a U22 that we want to, make in pretty much in every game starter, or at least like starting most games. Um, I don't know if anything happens. Maybe because we have two U22 slots, maybe something happens before we sell Obed Vargas. Um, I don't. I gotta be honest, guys. I don't want to burst anyone's bubble, but I don't see us bringing in an attacker like a nine. I don't really see us making that move with the addition of
But we
Jesus
should
Ferreira.
though.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you want to get, you know, you want to get better in that position. I know Jordan's solid. He had 13 goals last year, but you don't want to just be solid. You want to be great. And you can get great players on a U22, like Joveljic, for example. It's the easiest name you could point out there, but I don't see it happening. As far as what I see happening, I see us making a move for center mid when Obed leaves. But could also see, and I hope that we would make a move for like a techie wing back. You know what I mean? Like that would be awesome. That would
Wing
be
back
so
slash
sick.
winger. I'll add this. I would want him to also be mainly a winger though.
Yeah, but I wouldn't mind if he was like solid defensively as well. Just because, in my opinion, I think that if you look at our starting lineup, the weak point is the right back. So like if we could get a guy that can exceed Alex Roldan and then also be a very techie player when we're in that wing back formation, that would be ideal for me, to be honest.
So another super chat from Jax. Big shout out to Jax. Jeremiah, Nico, are the Sounders looking into Asian African players under U22? And if not, is there any way you can tell them? Well, we're not buddies with either of them. But if we were to answer that question, we'll rephrase it a little bit. Should the Sounders look for an Asian or African player in the U22 spot? I mean, think about it. So the guy we keep bringing up, Joveljic, Serbian international. Yeah, you can get guys in these like Scandinavian outskirts, European from Turkey or Finland, like things like that. You can get those type of players, but or from Africa or Asia, there's solid players like Kevin Danke's an African player. Obviously, Kevin Danke's more established, but for example, like he's another good player that plays for Togo, not even one of the more reputable African countries. Maybe we get some from Trinidad, maybe from I don't know, Senegal, Morocco, Algeria. There's a plethora of good nations. So I don't mind if we outsource. I'd love that. Brody knows it. I've talked about this for years. I
Yeah.
want some variety in this team because it's not only that. I look at things in a marketing perspective too, because it's like you bring in a guy that's from one of those like big footballing nations, like in regards to the fan base. You look at like the likes of Egypt, Indonesia, Algeria, Morocco, big footballing nations with
Look at
their
our
fan
own.
bases.
Look at our own signings. For example, Raul. Raul had a huge fan base when he came, and he sold a lot of jerseys, and like that stuff does matter. It
Yeah,
does.
so it's like I wouldn't mind if we did things like that, and you could probably get them for cheaper. You could probably make a good you can use them you can get a good bargain out of them because they're not one of the most sought after players, but they're good you could bargain for them to get them for those U22 spots. And look at Joveljic. Like granted, I know that Galaxy didn't end up making any money off of him, but it's like he went from a U22 to a DP in this league. But the Galaxy got the best out of him at the end of the day. It's SKC that are paying the high amount. Galaxy won an MLS Cup under him, and they move him on. And he's a Serbian international. And let's think about this: Serbia have a really good Serbia are like a good footballing nation that qualify for World Cups, but their main power in positions is strikers. You look at Vlahovic, you look at Mitrovic, and still Joveljic is in that mix. So it's like you can find these type of guys. It's a matter of actually looking for them. I know our big thing now is getting the USMNT C team squad, which I don't love. I know some of you might like it, but I would like us to look outside MLS. This is funny. Kevin Cabral. I feel like that's more of like a Harry Ship 2.0 type of move.
Yeah. No thanks. I think I'm
I
good.
would I would want someone like so when I look at Hudson Odoi, for example. He's a guy that is techie, is a good attacker, as well when he was at Chelsea during his latter stage, was playing wingback for us. So kind of like Areola, but actually good, like more like techie, like a modern day winger. and Eze, he's good with his, his footwork, his dribbling, can take on players, create. So Georgie, let's use Georgie. I think Georgie's a lot less polished version of kind of the guys I mentioned because these guys play in Europe, but like that would be good. I would like a player like that. Like what Victor Rodriguez was a good dribbler, solid player. I would want us to spend that money if we were to reinvest it going into the Club World Cup, because I think the reality is you free up the space so you can have the opportunity before the Club World Cup to address let's be honest, most likely our biggest issue is going to be offensive problems. Let's keep it a buck. I think our defense is fine, but offense is obviously going to be probably our biggest issue. To address some of that, to see where you can fill that hole in.
You know what else? You know what I would be interested in if we sold Obed, because Obed obviously's got a ton of talent, but he's still developing, and he's not like he's got the tools and the ability to be this, but he's not really like he's not a guy's gonna score goals from that position, like a lot of them at least. I'm thinking of like not a player. We won't likely get a player of this caliber, but just a similar build to like how when Portland got Evander, because he wasn't like a 10, he was like an 8, like an 8 with attacking prowess. I think that would be cool to pair next to you have like a 6, a Christian who can kind of stay back and his motor's super high, so he'll be able to do a job there. But then you put like
we get Tomas.
Tomas, bring him back. Bring him back round 2. Where is that guy now, man? I couldn't tell you.
I think an interesting question, which we can ask the incredible Angie. Big shout out to you, because I know I always see you during these lives. How much do you think we could get from Obed? Everyone else in the live and in the comments, again, always chime in with this. We don't want just our opinion. This is not an us thing. This is an everyone thing. How much do you think we could get for Obed? Let's throw out some numbers. Like realistically, guys. Let's not be like he's not going for 50 mil or something, but
it just depends where he's going to. Like if he's going to Keys, we could probably see 10 to 12 mil for him. If he's going to Europe, probably more around like the 7-8-ish million with some sell-on clauses and stuff. I would say just like a median number, 9 to 10 million. And that's like in this moment.
I think 10 million would be good. So, I mean, Wade over here says 25 mil. Wade, I love you, bro. That would be awesome. Jack says 8.5. Not bad. 10 mil, mil. Daniel says 10 mil. Yeah.
25 is crazy, man.
25 is a lot.
Is our squad even worth that?
It depends. Like, I think we could get 12 mil for Obed, but that means he's going to Mexico, which, again, it depends. Do you care about Obed or do you care about the club? Do you want to see Obed flourish? Granted, if he goes to Mexico, I doubt he's going to, I think that's where, because the Mexican league is notorious for not developing their players and getting them out to Europe. I think Alexis Vega is a great example. He actually just came out with a recent interview how he had offers from, I think, 1 or 2 teams in La Liga. It didn't end up happening. I don't know exactly why, but it's just like they're notorious for not doing that. But based on the conversation I've had with Obed and his dad, his family, it looks like he wants to go to Europe. And so it's like, I think we would see around 8 mil. I think 8 mil is solid, but I want 12. I want 12.
Yeah, well, I mean, if he builds on what he did, because we were talking about this towards the end of the year, especially in the playoffs, he looked like one of the best midfielders in the MLS, just in general. So if he can even carry that form and build on that, his value will go up. We could get that 12 mil, even if he's going to Europe as well, I think.
Dude, shout out to Angie. Using 2 accounts, absolute goated behavior. You know what else is goated behavior? Liking the stream. Everyone drop a like right now if you haven't already. How many likes are we at right now? Let's quickly take a peek. Let's see what our like. We're at 15, bro, guys. We could double that. Let's get to 30.
Drop a like or else.
I want this video to end at about 50 likes. What were you putting it for?
Chad, drop a like or else Chad Marshall will show up in your house with the smile on his face while you're sleeping. Drop a like.
Okay, boys, to wrap up this video / live, let's break down. Okay, let's not talk about what's realistic. Now that we have 2 U22 spots open, what 2 positions would you want to fill it with? let's just go with that. What would you want to see the Sounders fill it up with now that Josh is gone? And also, one thing I want to say is too, even though he's not going to be watching this, and if he did, he wouldn't have gone this far into the video. I will miss Josh. Great guy, follower of the page, and he will be missed. Very much missed.
One of our own.
He needs to stop stealing all the chicks. Every time when I was, on my rampage of trying to chat up women, every time I see Josh Atencio follows her, I was like, I can't compete if he's following her. So no more of that. No more. Now he can't steal my women out here in Seattle. But totally digressing. 2 positions we want to see assigned in these U22 slots if we were to fill it up.
Yeah, just with the squad we have right now, not factoring in like an Obed sell potentially.
What was that? Sorry?
I said, like, just with the squad we have now, not factoring in like an Obed transfer.
Okay, Obed's most likely. Just Brody, don't think about it. You're overthinking this, bro. 2 positions you
well,
want.
It because if it's the squad right now, I would like obviously a striker. I would like another striker, and I also would like a wingback. But if Obed leaves, then we have to get the player of the future in that position because JP's getting old. Christian not necessarily young either. Just lost Atencio, so yeah, it just depends on if Obed stays or not.
Dude, I don't give a rat's poop about the midfield. I want a striker and I want a techie winger. That's all I want. That's all I've been asking for. Get me a.
We already have techie wingers, man.
Do we? We just have Georgie.
De La Vega.
Okay, my bad. We do have De La Vega. I want. The thing is that's the problem. Is my dream is to see De La Vega and Georgie as the wingers. With Jesus, I want a false 9. Jesus, De La Vega, Georgie. It's just never gonna happen. That's the sad part. We're never gonna see that, and I doubt we're not gonna see that often. Georgie and De La Vega as the wingers out and out throughout the season. But that's what I would want to see. I think that's our best offense right there. Having those 2 guys running at that's where you'll create a lot of half chance. I think Jordan might reap that type of benefit, but. Okay, Angie quickly asked, we'll quickly go over this. This is a random question if you know iShow Speed. Who doesn't know iShow Speed? Who do you think is faster, iShow Speed or Prime Oba? Barnes is the secret question. Prime Oba. He actually I think, Brody, I sent you the video where he was getting asked who's faster than him. And I remember he was talking about Adama Traore, Tia Walcott. He said he's faster than all of them. So I'm going to go with Obed.
Easy, Prime Oba.
100%. I mean, I meant Oba, not Obed. Sorry, I was on a whole tangent there. But I'm going to say striker. Fine, I'll say a 6. Striker and a 6, but I would love to see like a polished winger, like a really, really good winger. But that's going to be De La Vega. So we light those De La Vega candles because we're bringing it into existence.
Yeah. I mean, it would be because it's not going to happen, but we could see a potential Jordan Morris trade in the future. Listen, it's not unheard of to trade strikers in this league. So maybe we go a U22 striker. He outproduces Morris. Morris maybe falls out of the team. And then, that guy just takes his place and we trade Jordan. Maybe, probably not, but,
you brought it up, Brody. We'll close out with this. Also, Wade right off the bat, Brody, Wade agrees with you. Would you guys want to see it? This is still a video. We have like 4 videos backlog. So everybody that's watching right now, we have a shitload of content before opening day that needs to get pumped out. And one of them is my ideal transfer window. This video has been in the works for months, but it's almost done. And I talked about it actually in that video. But if a sizable, okay, so if we could sell Josh Atencio for $1 million, how much could Jordan Morris go for? Jesus Ferreira was what, 2.5, 8? Morris has to be in that realm. Has to.
Yeah. Yeah, he'd be in that realm for sure. And for me, it's more about just getting that contract off the books. It's not necessarily about the money that we would get for him. It's kind of like, sure, maybe we only get, let's say, the Jesus Ferreira amount. It's about just getting that contract off the books so we can make a signing like that. And then if you sell Obed, you got the Club World Cup money coming in. Like, you have the funds to make that move to get, I like to bring this guy up all the time, but a Cucho guy. Just any sort of future striker that has good knees and is young, he's ready to just take the league by storm. That's the dream. That's the dream. I don't see it happening. I don't think we'll ever trade Jordan, but yeah, that would be my dream.
It's a dream that we could maybe see it. Last question. We'll end it with GOAT edits because he's a GOAT. Because everybody that's here, you better have liked this stream or else. Who is the best player right now on the team?
Easy. It's easy. Ymar. 100%. Easy.
Yeah, I think it's Yamar or Fry. I would lean towards Yamar as well. Yamar purely based off of what they could be. I think it could be. Oh, your boy Jacob said Jordan Morse. Is Jordan Morse really the golden boy? I was just gonna say maybe the hometown boy. I don't know about golden boy.
He's the Sounders fan base's golden boy. That is true. Whether or not he's that talent, obviously disagree, but he is the golden boy, hometown hero. Like, I agree. We'll never see him traded, in my opinion. But Jesus Ferreira was the same thing for FC Dallas, and his dad, David Ferreira. Shout out those that watched MLS back in the day. You know, he was their hometown kid too.
He was a GOAT, and it's not even just for Dallas. He's a goated player in MLS history.
David Ferreira, yeah, MVP winner. And then you have his kid come through the ranks, and they loved him when he was, at that time there. And then things soured. Like, you never know what could happen down the line. But if you asked me if Ferreira would have ever been traded, like, I would have probably said no. And then things happen, and you're like, oh, there's a path to where he could be let go. So, I guess it just all depends. The only way I'd see it happen is if Jordan really stunk it up this year. Really stunk it up, and then we had
kind of like how the first half of last season.
Yeah, if he stunk it up this year,
especially being a DP now.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't think the team is. I think too talented up top for him to struggle. I think he's got too much support. I think Ferreira's going to get him in a good spot. Still, Vega will get him into good spots. I just don't see him looking terrible. And if he doesn't look terrible, he's going to stay on the team. So
Jacob actually, and I'm going to counteract this. He is not that talented, but he's the first real academy kid to break through. Incorrect. DeAndre Yedlin was the first academy kid to break through.
That's true. And also, I guess, yeah, Morris was an academy kid, but then went to Stanford and then came back. So, yeah.
But nonetheless, boys and girls, everyone that watched, Josh Atencio is gone. We're going to miss you, Josh. And that's the end of the live stream. Everybody that's watching right now, if you haven't already, also drop a comment too of your thoughts on everything we talked about in this video. We have a buttload of videos that are going to come out before opening day against Charlotte, which includes a live stream preview with Top Bin 90, who are the biggest Charlotte FC accounts out there, talking about the game. I think on Thursday, so 2 days before the home opener. As well, we'll do a watch long for the first away game against Antangua, however you pronounce their name. So we also will have that too. Boys and girls, make sure to subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Turn on those bell notifications. Look at being a member on the channel. It's not a bad idea. It's not a bad shout. Help support the content we do on here. But nonetheless, boys and girls, I hope you'll have a lovely day.